Why are you deflecting blame onto me? Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome. It is 7 a.m. and today is Wednesday, June 9th, 2021. My name is John Henry Soto. Thank you so much for joining us here this morning. If you do like these morning talks here, I basically have some coffee, a few laughs sometimes, talk about positive things for the day ahead, and I do that Monday through Fridays. I also talk about movies. I'm a filmmaker. I also talk about music. I'm a musician. I also talk about parenting because I'm a father, and I talk about being married, obviously. Well, not obviously, because you can be a father without being married, right? But I am married for 18 years now, so I have some experience in that area as well. And these are the some of the topics that I actually cover every morning here. If you do like that idea, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit that little bell so you get notifications every time I do a video. All right. So, one of the strangest things that I've always experienced, not just being an artist, but being a human being alive in a body on a planet floating through space, is the blaming element. Blaming, and not necessarily blaming outright, right? But it's deflecting the future blame. This is a very interesting topic today because I'm going to try to see if I could break it down a little bit in the 23 minutes that I'm here. So one of the things that are that happens in art, let's just say in filmmaking, right, is there's a lot of moving parts in a film. Right? There's a lot of people. There's the writers, the directors, the actors, the lighting, the editors, the music for after the film, the marketing, all that stuff is all encompasses the world of filmmaking, right? And if one of those pieces are weak, right, the film could suffer, especially some of the major things, obviously, right, like a director or a really bad casting job, or a an editor who struggles and can't edit a film can really screw the film up, right? So one of the things that I've noticed and that I've run into, and then I realized it's not just in filmmaking, it's not just in music, it's not just in art, it's in everything, is this thing of deflecting blame for future possibilities of things falling through the crack, or things screwing up. And it's very frustrating. And I remember in a lot of jobs that I've had, people giving me the line, um, well, I mean, you could do that if that's what you want to do, you know. Yeah, if that's what you want to do, you can do that. So no solution, no kind of especially if I'm asking a question. And that's what I mean by deflecting the future blame, because then they can just always say, well, I said to him, I don't know how, what you're gonna do. You can do that if you want, but that's why it didn't work. Or the classic is always, they'll tell somebody, you know, that they want to do something, and then they'll come to you and say, do you think this is a good idea? And then they'll go over there and say, well, he thinks it's a good idea. Meaning me. John thinks it's a good idea. If we did this and this, it was their original idea, right? And I was just, and I'll go along with it, and then it doesn't work out, and then I get blamed. I go, well, John, it'd be behind closed doors, of course, not never to me, but it always gets back to me. You know why? Because generally people like me when I worked in the corporate world and in fitness and all that stuff. People generally they kind of be like, I'm not a threatening guy. I'm a short guy. I tell jokes. I do my work. I love art, and I'm not really a threatening person. I have opinions, and I'm strong on my opinions and my convictions, but I'm not necessarily a threatening to anyone, except someone who might think that I might want to take their job or something, which I rarely do, because if they think that, then I don't that job is not really interesting to me, if they think it's so precious, right? um I wouldn't do that to someone. So generally people like me, so it always gets back to me when people are talking behind my back. I don't know why. I don't like it, to be honest with you. When I worked in the business, people come in to the office and they'd be like, John, I just want to let you know that this person said this about you, and I just want to let you know, I don't know why they said it. I'm just letting you know because I like you, and I want you to just be careful. So now it's like, I wish you hadn't told me that, because now I can't just be quiet. I have to confront this. And they're like, no, don't say anything. Well, don't come to me with that, right? That was my whole thing. But again, there's another deflection of blame, right? It's another, and it's really just responsibility, right? When you take full responsibility for something, well, then you're fully responsible for whatever happens. If it tanks, you. If it does well, you. If it's you, right? It's always you. That's when you take full responsibility for it. But if you are afraid, if you have, if you're weak in your foundation, if you really don't feel confident in what you're doing, well, you're gonna have some doubts on that constantly, and you're going to try to figure out how you can not be blamed all the time for something. So this becomes a very dangerous place to live, because what ends up happening is people will hurt others. They're it's not their intention to hurt others, but they do it because they're trying to deflect that blame. They're trying to soften that blow of whatever actually comes. They don't want to take full responsibility for it. And in filmmaking, this can happen. I had somebody who we were um discussing a possible project, and it was on a phone call. It was a three-way call between me, a young lady, and this dude. And so we were talking about this project. And so I said, well, this is what I'll bring to the table. I can direct. I can help with the writing a little bit if it's needed. If it's not written already, I don't want to sit and write a whole script, because that's not. I thought they had a script, or they do have a script, but they were talking a little bit about, like, it wasn't really fleshed out. And then right in the middle of the conversation, the young lady says, well, she's like, I don't know anything about this part of it, so I'm just leaving it to you guys. I'm just giving you the suggestions, and then you guys just do whatever. And I just thought to myself, that is such a, I hate that. I hate that somebody comes in, they want to be part of the project, but they want to step back. And that happened in business too, in real estate. I had a young lady, very wealthy young lady, not young lady, she was an older lady, a very wealthy lady, and her husband, but she was involved with some projects. And I remember her in a meeting saying, I'm just the idea person. I'm just putting them on the table. You guys can do whatever you want with them. I'm just here to just throw my ideas there, and you guys say, which is, it's fine. You can do that, but don't call a meeting for that, right? Because that's not, you're not bringing anything to the table, but you know a distance. You're distancing yourself from something that you called us in for, right? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine me calling people like, okay, everybody, come on, I'm gonna shoot a film now. I'm not writing it. I have an idea for a film. Okay, I'm putting it all out there. I'm not doing anything with it. I just want to give you guys the idea, and you guys go out and you guys do it. And then if it does really well, I take the credit. If it tanks, I didn't really have that much to do with it, right? So, can you imagine somebody doing that? That's the sad part of what I'm talking about today, which is a and it's a sign. Where it comes from is from the fear of failure, right? And fear of failure ruins lives, right? And it runs people's lives, right? They're constantly wanting to, like, not fail, constantly looking for that exit strategy from from something, right? They want to go in, but they don't want to fully go in. They want to be able to exit. They don't want to take that risk. It's a very scary thing. They want to be able to blame somebody if it doesn't work out. So it's not on them. Well, if you own a business, it's well the the customers here, they're just terrible. The parents, if you have a school, or if you have a um if you have a teaching school of some type, or if you have any kind of program that deals with the public, if you have, and you're always wanting to blame something for the business not doing well, right? Or for your idea not taking off. And I'm here to tell you that there is no one to blame but yourself, right? I That took me a long time to be able to say that. I'm not I'm be totally transparent here. A long time, for me to actually say it's my responsibility. All right, I did it. I'm the one that has to make this happen, right? I used to think this was my how naive I was. I used to think that if I had good ideas, and if I had uh, a patience, and if I had the positive energy to bring to a project, and I know how to do a few things on a film set, or in a band, or whatever it was, or in an office, that somebody would see my elevate me, help me, right? They'll be like, this guy's got some great ideas. We're gonna put him up on a pedestal. But I was missing something, and what I was missing was full responsibility for what I was willing to contribute to the project, to the thing that I was doing. And that became my Achilles heel. I can't pronounce that word that well, so I apologize, but you know what I mean. Achilles heel. Wow, I really can't say that. It's my Spanish tongue. No me permite. All right. So, but that was my weakness. And because it was my weakness, because I didn't go in with the idea that I'm in 100% to this thing. I went in with the idea that I have these things that I'm bringing to the table, and somebody, they like it, and they're gonna elevate me, and they're gonna boost me up, and they're gonna help me. And the fact of the matter is that, yeah, there are people out there that will help, but everyone is in need of help. Everyone is in the same boat, unless you meet somebody. And I have met people in incredible positions of power in their fields. um they're not going to just be like, hey, I'm going to take you under my wing. And some people do. I'm not taking away that ability, that whole thing. But there's a certain level of something that you need to bring to the table, which is a confidence that you're going to do it whether you have somebody there or not, whether somebody elevates you or not, whether somebody helps you or not. You're going to continue. And that was what I was missing for many, many years. And this is the biggest advice that I can give you this morning here. If you have the drive to do something, if you have the intention that you want to get something, you've made a decision, realize that nobody really gives a crap. I hope that was helpful. It's the truth. Nobody really, really cares that much about what you're doing. They'll support you. They will say, give you thumbs up. They'll like your posts. They'll send you a message saying, hey, well done. And it's great, because that's what you want. You want support, you know. But at the end of the day, everyone has their own thing that they're working on. You have to make it happen on your own to a certain level where it becomes financially an actual product, where it becomes something that can be monetized, because money, unfortunately, money drives interest, right? Money will pull people in. Money is energy, right? So if you created something that actually has gained energy, it's going to build it, it's going to pull in money, right? When it pulls in money, then you can actually go out and tell people what you're doing and what you have. And now on the other side of that, you might have a really great script, or you might be really good at making films. You know, I'm pretty good at making short films that I've written, and I cast them with people that I know, and for the most part, almost 90% of everybody I've asked said that they would do it. Very few people have turned me down on the film, on wanting to be in the film, and they'll show up, but they have to. But I know they're not showing up to fully, they're showing up to do their job, to do their position, their thing. It's my job to get it all put together, right? And I've failed miserably at that. I get it all together, and then I can't complete it. I struggle with the technical part of it, right? I just finished a film during COVID, which I had to edit on my own. um I'm not really an editor, so I during COVID I took an online course on how to edit. So I taught myself how to edit, and then I edited it. Then I tried to do color correction. I had no idea how to do that. I was screwing it up. I found a professional in the Philippines to do the color correction. And then the sound. I couldn't match all the sound in the whole film. It was driving me nuts. So I found a guy in Berlin, and he actually, but because the film was done, it had energy behind it. It was a good film. I'm going to be releasing it in festivals very soon. I have everything ready to go. I'm just working on a few other family issues. Nothing bad, everything fantastic. But we're working on something that we'll talk about in the future, in the near future. But right now, this is my film, and this is what I've been working on. And I think it's a really great film. It's a great performance. That's Henry Packer there, who gave a great performance. But why do I mention that? I mentioned it because it was a little learning process. I have two other films that I'm still editing, that I'm going through the same kind of thing, right? But I realized that I'm not gonna do all this and then somebody's gonna say, "Hey John, I'll edit that for you." I thought maybe they would, and then we'll all be together, and I'll do the marketing, and I'll do the social media part of it, and I'll do the live interviews of all the cast, and I'll do all that stuff. But somebody will come in and say, "Hey, I'll color correct it. Hey, I'm gonna edit that for you." But it just doesn't happen, and it might happen, but it doesn't. So I'm deflecting blame. I was deflecting blame for a very long time. I was just saying, "Oh, people just don't want to do. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to do work. They don't want to." And it's not that. Is that nobody really cares. Everybody has their own thing going on, and they're trying. If they ask me for help, right? And some people have, and I've always tried to, if I can do it, I'll do it. Either they need locations to work out of, they need whatever it is, right? I'm always there. I'm always there. I need to remember to look up here, because this is where you guys are, and I tend to look at the screen because I'm looking at the time. So you guys have to help me with that. Anybody on the podcast, you don't know you don't care because I'm just talking. So the deflecting of blame is one of these things that you have to look out for, because it can damage your future project tremendously, especially if you have more than one person involved in the project who just wants to be in the project but doesn't necessarily want to take full responsibility for their part. And then when the thing falls apart or it doesn't work, they'll just sit back and be like, "Well, I told you. I mean, he's not the guy. That's what happens. I was helping, I was trying my best, but that they weren't trying their best." And now in my older years and more experience in dealing with it, I can tell when somebody immediately gives me the line where I know they're not really involved. They just think it's cool. And being in a movie and being part of a film project, it's like, yeah, I'm working on a film project. That sounds kind of cool, I guess to some people. It's not. You know what I mean? It's just another the project, and it's fun. It's art, and I love being part of it. But at the same time, it's not something that anyone should just try to get involved in just so they can say that. Like being in a band, it's cool, but if you don't show up for rehearsals, if you don't practice every single day, if you don't practice writing songs, if you don't get together with the group, if you don't go out and play shows, well, then you're not really in a band. You just think it's cool to say that you're in a band, and then you do a little bit, just enough to people say, "Oh yeah, look, he is in a band. There's a CD they recorded. Hey, look, they are in the band. There's a picture of them on a stage, And yeah, you're in a band this much, right? But when you really want to get into a group, you really want to create some music, well, then that's when you have to really dive in, and you have to take full responsibility and don't blame anyone. And at the end of the day, like when I say people don't care, I don't mean that they don't care about you. I don't mean that they don't care about your art. I mean that they have their own things going on. They're not going to commit everything to you. Once you realize that you are the one, that you are the responsible one, that you have to take full responsibility for every project, everything involved in anything that you're doing, life becomes so much better because then expectations are go away. There's no expectations of me, of somebody calling, "Hey John, want me to help you with your film?" I don't have that expectation. You know what I mean? Why would I? I don't. It hasn't happened. It doesn't really happen a lot. I have to work for everything on my own. Um, and I put it together and I piece it and I put it out, right? And that's what I'm going to be doing. That's what I'm continuing to do. And now that I have this new found, which, believe it or not, it is new. I mean, I think I've been feeling this for quite some time, but in the last 2 years, I've really been noticing. Okay, this is part of what I'm learning now. It's gonna be up to me. I need to put this my best foot forward and keep it forward, and know that I'm the only one doing this and leading the way. Right? Other people will come along. A good example is my cousin George. Right? He came to me with an idea. I don't know, you know a lot about social media, you know about going live. I don't really know a lot, but I know a lot about Star Trek, and I know a lot about, we played in a band together, my cousin and I, and he had this idea for a show, and I thought, that's a good idea. And I said, I'll get involved in it because he's my cousin, and we have a really, really great friendship, and we're funny together, and we kind of have a lot of the same realities because we grew up playing music together, and watching Star Trek basically. So I said, let's give it a try. We'll see. Again, I didn't want it to be like me doing everything and me having to lead, and then somebody, well, they're not that involved, so the thing collapses. But he's been the opposite, and I think it's because I put the viewpoint of like that. I'm the one doing it. It's my responsibility. If it crashes, it crashes, and it's me. I'm fine with that, whatever. But I had that viewpoint going in, and it had the opposite effect. He actually has been really involved. He's got our really big guest coming in on tomorrow's show that we have at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live right here. Um, and very excited about it. And he's been doing things on his own, reaching out to me, and it's been like a real joy for me. So I want to find that in other areas, that same type of energy in areas of music, in areas of film, and in all in business, and in I do finances on Bitcoin. I do investing in Bitcoin, and I have a lot of other coins, and a lot of other stuff that I'm involved in, real estate as well. When you find that person that really is going to be there helping, and it's and because they want to do it, because they're taking full responsibility too. So now you have two people taking full responsibility for the same thing. It's bound to do well. All right, folks. There's my conversation on deflecting blame. Just take responsibility for whatever it is you want to achieve. And if you don't, if you think you're going to team up with somebody because they're going to do a lot of the work, you're not going to be successful. You're just not. You have to do it. You got to take the responsibility. And if it collapses, it's on you, and it's okay. You go on to the next thing. It's happened to me numerous times. Things fall through the cracks. I don't do it. Failure, whatever happens, I look at it like, all right, well, that didn't work out. What's next? And then you just keep moving forward. Because at the end of the day, it's all you. You go to sleep with yourself. You wake up with yourself, and you know, and that's the. And I'm out of words now. So, all right, folks. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you all. If you like these morning talks, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little bell so you get notifications. And let me know if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions for shows here, things that I can talk about. I appreciate it. send me a message. You can do that at John Henry Soto at protonmail.com. You can also visit my website, johnhenrysoto.com. You can watch all my films there, my music stuff, all my other shows, everything that I'm involved in is right there on this site. And it's a lot of fun. You can message me there as well. Thank you very much, everybody. Make today great. Do the things that you love. Take care of yourselves. And as always, peace.